I showed up at my dad's retirement party after 4 years of silence, and his new wife I'd never met accused me of being a stalker. She didn't just yell, she physically grabbed me, shoved me in front of 100 firefighters. My dad's reaction made the entire ballroom go silent. He laughed, not a nervous laugh, a genuine head-thrown-back laugh. "Honey, that's my kid," he said casually, like I was furniture he'd forgotten to mention. His wife, Veronica, went pale. Her manicured nails were still digging into my shoulder. She let go immediately, stumbling backward. "You're what?" Her voice cracked. "My eldest. Haven't seen them in a while, though." He turned back to the fire chief, didn't hug me, didn't ask where I'd been, like I'd stepped out for groceries instead of vanishing for 4 years. Veronica's face cycled through shock, embarrassment, then something darker. Rage. "You never mentioned having a child," she hissed at him. "Didn't I?" Dad shrugged. Must have slipped my mind. I stood there, my arm throbbing where she'd grabbed me. Everyone was staring. The DJ had stopped the music. Someone's phone was recording. I'd driven 8 hours to be here. I'd rehearsed what I'd say, how I'd explain, how I'd rebuild something. But watching him dismiss me like an inconvenient detail made everything click. 4 years ago, I'd left because of the drinking, the rages, the way he'd scream at Mom until she locked herself in the bathroom. I was 19 and tired of being the human shield. So I packed one bag and disappeared. Changed my number, started over. Mom called last month. "He's retiring. He's been sober 2 years. He's different now." She thought maybe I should try, that maybe enough time had passed. I should have known better. Veronica was still standing there, her face twisted. "How old are you?" 23. She turned to Dad. "You told me you never wanted kids, that you'd never had any." The ballroom was so quiet you could hear ice melting in glasses. Dad's jaw tightened. His eyes met mine for the first time since I'd arrived. There was no warmth there, no recognition, just cold calculation. "Veronica, let's talk later," he said. "No." Her voice was steel. "We're talking now. You erased your own child?" "They left," he said simply. "Their choice." Something in my chest cracked. Not broke. It had broken years ago. This was the final piece crumbling. "I left because you threw a bottle at Mom's head," I said. My voice sounded strange, calm. It shattered against the wall. 6 stitches. The fire chief stepped back. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Dad's face went red. "That's not how I remember it." "I still have the pictures." Veronica looked at me differently now, like she was seeing me for the first time. "Pictures?" I pulled out my phone, opened the folder I'd kept as insurance. Mom's bleeding scalp, the shattered glass, the hole in the drywall, the police report I'd filed and withdrawn because Mom begged me to. "I have 47 more," I said quietly, "from different nights." Dad moved toward me, not threatening, pleading. "You can't show those, not here. These are my brothers, my squad." "Your squad," I repeated. "The guys who think you're a hero." His hand reached for my phone. That's when Veronica stepped between us. This woman who'd assaulted me minutes ago now formed a barrier. "Don't touch them," she said to Dad. Her voice shook. "Don't you dare." Dad's face transformed. The mask slipped. I saw the rage I remembered. The man who'd terrorized my childhood. "Veronica, you don't understand." "Then explain," she said. "Explain to all these people how you forgot you had a child." The fire chief cleared his throat. "Maybe we should give you folks some privacy." "No," I said. "Stay. You should know who you're celebrating." Dad took a step back. For the first time, he looked scared. "What do you want?" I hadn't known until that moment. I'd come hoping for reconciliation, for closure. But standing there watching him panic, I realized what I actually needed. "I want you to tell them the truth," I said. "Tell everyone here why I left. Why Mom left. Tell Veronica why you never mentioned having a kid." The silence stretched. Someone's radio crackled. A glass broke somewhere in the kitchen. Dad's mouth opened, closed. His eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape. There wasn't one. That's when the doors burst open. 2 uniformed officers walked in. Behind them, my mom. And behind her, someone I never expected. My younger brother. The one I didn't know existed. He was tall, maybe 17, had Dad's jawline but Mom's eyes. He stared at me like I was a ghost. Mom's hand was on his shoulder, gripping tight. The officers stopped just inside the doorway, scanning the room. "That's him," Mom said, pointing at Dad. Her voice was different than I remembered. Stronger. "That's my husband." Ex-husband, I thought. She'd left him 2 years ago. Filed divorce papers 6 months after I disappeared. I'd found out through a mutual friend who tracked me down on social media. The taller officer stepped forward. "Sir, we need you to come with us." Dad's face went white. "What is this?" "Restraining order violation," the officer said. He pulled out papers. "You were served 3 weeks ago. No contact with Patricia Brennan or her minor son. You're not supposed to be within 500 feet. This is my retirement party," Dad said. His voice cracked. "And your ex-wife received an invitation," the officer continued. "She declined, but you sent another one to her home address. Then you called her workplace twice. Then you showed up at her house." Veronica turned to Dad. "You said you didn't know where she lived." I was just..." Dad stumbled over his words. My younger brother spoke for the first time. "You sat outside our house for 3 hours last Tuesday." His voice was surprisingly steady. "You left cigarette butts on the curb, 6 of them." Dad had quit smoking, or so he claimed. "Mom called the cops," my brother continued. "You drove away before they arrived. But our neighbor has a ring camera." The second officer held up a tablet, showed footage of Dad's truck parked across the street. Timestamped 11:47 p.m. Dad sitting in the driver's seat smoking, staring at a house I'd never seen. "You were sober," I said to him. Didn't phrase it as a question. "I am sober," Dad insisted. 26 months. "Then why are you violating a restraining order?" Veronica's voice had gone cold. "Why didn't you tell me she left you? That she had to get the police involved?" Dad's mouth worked, but nothing came out. The fire chief stepped between him and the officers. "Let's all calm down. I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding," Mom said. She looked older than I remembered, thinner, but her spine was straight. "He broke into our house 4 months ago, threatened us, said he'd burn it down if I didn't drop the divorce. My brother nodded. He had a gas can. The room exploded. Firefighters talking over each other. Someone saying this can't be true. Someone else pulling out their phone. Veronica backing away from Dad like he was radioactive. I just stood there, watching my carefully constructed image of the past rearrange itself. You have a son, I said to Mom. Stated it flat. She finally looked at me. Really, looked at me. I tried to find you after I left him, but you disappeared so completely. I had to. I know. Her eyes filled. I know you did. The officers moved toward Dad. He held up his hands. Wait, just wait. Let me explain. You can explain at the station, the taller officer said. That's when Dad lunged. Not at the cops. At me. He grabbed my phone, the one still showing pictures of Mom's injuries, the one with evidence I'd been carrying for 4 years. I'd learned some things while I was gone. Self-defense classes, how to stand my ground, how to not be afraid anymore. I twisted, brought my elbow up into his ribs. He gasped, stumbled back. The phone clattered to the floor. The officers had him in handcuffs before he could recover. Dad thrashed against them. That's my kid. They assaulted me. You saw it. I saw you attack them, Veronica said quietly. I saw everything. The officers led Dad toward the door. He was shouting now. About betrayal, about ungrateful children, about how he'd given us everything. The firefighters parted like water. Nobody moved to help him. The fire chief looked sick. When the doors closed behind the officers and Dad, the silence was deafening. Mom approached me slowly, like I might bolt. This is Theo, she said, hand still on my brother's shoulder. Your brother, half-brother, Theo corrected. He had Dad's need for precision. When? I asked. I was pregnant when you left, Mom said. 3 months. I didn't know yet. I was so focused on surviving that I didn't notice. The math clicked. Theo was 16, almost 17. I'd been gone 4 years. You had him after you left Dad? I had him while I was still with your father, Mom corrected. I didn't leave until Theo was 2. It took me that long to find the courage. 2 more years. 2 more years of hell because of a baby. I couldn't protect you, Mom said. Her voice broke. But I could protect him. I had to try. Theo was staring at me. Mom talks about you sometimes, late at night. She thinks I'm asleep, but I hear her crying. Something twisted in my chest. I'd been so angry at Mom for staying, for choosing Dad over us. But she'd had a baby, a helpless kid who needed her. You could have called me, I said. After you left, you could have. I tried. Mom interrupted. Your number was disconnected. Your email bounced. Your social media was gone. You vanished, and I thought. She stopped. Swallowed hard. I thought maybe you were dead. Or maybe you hated me so much that you wanted nothing to do with me ever again. I didn't hate you, I said. Realized it was true. I just couldn't stay. I know. Veronica appeared beside us. She'd been standing alone by the gift table. Her face was blotchy from crying. I need to ask you something, she said to me. Okay. Those pictures on your phone. How many did you say you had? 47. Can I see them? Her hands were shaking. All of them. I looked at Mom. She nodded. So I unlocked my phone and handed it to Veronica. She scrolled through in silence. Her face got paler with each swipe. He told me his first wife was crazy, Veronica said finally, that she made up stories about him drinking, about violence. He said she poisoned his kids against him. She looked at Mom. You're not crazy. No, Mom said, I'm not. He told me you abandoned him, took his money in the divorce and disappeared. I got nothing in the divorce except debt, Mom said. He drained our accounts before I could file. I've been working 3 jobs to keep us afloat. Veronica handed me back my phone. She was crying openly now. We've been married 8 months. He said his kids were grown, out of state, that they'd chosen careers over family and he respected that. He made it sound noble. He's a liar, I said simply. I'm pregnant. Veronica pressed a hand to her flat stomach. 6 weeks. We just found out last week. He was so happy. Said he'd always wanted to be a father. The floor felt unstable. Another kid. Another victim. You need to leave him, Mom said. Today. Right now. Don't go back to the house. We live together. It's his house. I moved in when we got married. Then you pack a bag and go somewhere he can't find you, Mom insisted. You get a lawyer. You file for a restraining order. You protect that baby. I don't have anywhere to go. My family disowned me when I married him. They said he was too old for me. I didn't listen. Mom pulled out her phone, started typing. I have a friend. She runs a shelter for domestic violence. She'll take you in. No questions asked. I haven't been abused, Veronica said, but she didn't sound sure. Yet, I said. You haven't been abused yet. Veronica's eyes met mine. She saw something there. Recognition, maybe. He grabbed you earlier, at the party. Before he knew who you were, he did. He was going to grab you again, just now. I saw his hand move. He was. If I stay, Veronica said slowly, what happens to my baby? The same thing that happened to me, I said. And to Theo. You become the shield. Until the kid is big enough to become the shield instead. Veronica was crying harder now. I thought he loved me. Maybe he does, Mom said. In whatever broken way he's capable of. But love doesn't stop him from hurting people. It never has. The fire chief approached us. He looked old suddenly, worn. I've known your father for 15 years, he said to me. He saved my life once. Pulled me out of a burning building. I would have died if not for him. Okay, I said. I just wanted you to know that. He's a complicated person. He's done good things. He beat my mother, I said. He terrorized me for 19 years. He threatened to burn down her house with her and my brother inside. Are those complicated too? The fire chief flinched. No, those are just evil. Then stop making excuses for him. He nodded slowly, walked away. Other firefighters were gathering their things. The party was over. Some looked angry. Some looked shell-shocked. A few were crying. Theo spoke up. What happens now? Good question. I'd come here expecting one thing. I'd gotten something completely different. A brother I didn't know existed. A stepmother who needed help. A mother I'd been angry at for years who turned out to be just as trapped as I was. Now we leave, Mom said. All of us. Before he makes bail. He'll make bail? Veronica asked. He always does. Mom said. He has friends, people who believe him, people who think we're overreacting. Then where do we go? Somewhere he can't find us, Mom said. Somewhere safe. I thought about my apartment, 1,200 miles away. Studio space. Barely room for me. Definitely not room for 4 people. But I'd made it work before. I could make it work again. I have a place, I said. It's small, but it's far from here. He doesn't know where I live, doesn't even know what state I'm in. You'd let us stay with you? Mom asked. After everything? After everything, I confirmed. Theo looked skeptical. You're a stranger. We don't know you. You're right, I said. But we have about 6 hours of driving to change that. Unless you'd rather stay here and wait for Dad to get out? How do we know you're not dangerous too? Theo pressed. How do we know you're even who you say you are? Smart kid. Suspicious kid. Good survival instincts. You don't, I admitted. But your mom does. She knows me. Or knew me. 4 years is a long time, but people don't fundamentally change. Mom was studying my face. You look different, older. Your hair is shorter, but your eyes are the same. You always had his eyes, but your grandmother's kindness in them. I cut my hair the day I left, I said. Makes it easier to run. You've been running for 4 years? Haven't we all? Veronica interrupted. I need to get my things from the house. My documents, my medication, my mother's jewelry. It's all I have left of her. Then we go now, Mom said. While he's in custody. We go, we pack, and we leave. No hesitation. I'll drive, I offered. I have a SUV. Should fit everyone. We walked out of the ballroom together, the 4 of us. A strange family formed by violence and survival. Behind us, firefighters were still processing what they'd seen. Ahead of us, an uncertain future. My SUV was in the parking garage, 3 years old. Nothing fancy, but reliable. Bought with money I'd earned working overnight shifts at a warehouse. Theo climbed in back. Mom took shotgun. Veronica hesitated. I should call the police, she said. Tell them I'm getting my things. Make it official. Good idea, Mom said. Always document everything. Veronica made the call. Gave our ETA. The dispatcher said an officer would meet us there. Make sure nothing escalated. Escalated, Veronica repeated after hanging up. Like it hasn't already. The drive to Dad and Veronica's house took 20 minutes. It was a nice neighborhood, big houses, manicured lawns, the kind of place that screamed success. Dad had done well after Mom left, got promoted, got remarried, got a fresh start, while we rotted in his wake. The police cruiser was already there when we pulled up. Same officers from the ballroom. They nodded at us. Make it quick, the taller one said. He could post bail within the hour. Veronica's hands shook as she unlocked the door. Inside, the house was pristine. Modern furniture, expensive art, everything in its place. It looked like a magazine spread. Sterile. Cold. Our room is upstairs, Veronica said. I'll pack. I'll help, Mom offered. They disappeared up the stairs. Theo and I stood in the entryway. He was looking around like he'd never been here before. Have you? I asked. Been here before? Once, Theo said. Dad brought me here 6 months ago. Said he wanted me to meet Veronica. She wasn't home. He gave me a tour. Told me this would all be mine someday if I convinced Mom to drop the restraining order. Did you? I told Mom what he said. She filed for full custody the next day. Smart kid. Loyal kid. Better than I'd been at his age. You protected her, I said. Someone had to, Theo said. You weren't there. The words hit like a slap. You're right. I wasn't. Why did you leave? Because I was drowning. Because every day in that house felt like dying. Because I was 19 and thought if I could just escape, just get away, everything would be okay. Was it? Theo asked. Okay? No, I admitted. But it was better than staying. Mom needed you. Mom needed a lot of things I couldn't give her. I was a kid. A messed up kid trying to survive. She cried every night for a year after you left, Theo said. I was too young to understand, but I remember. She'd sit in your old room and just cry. Guilt twisted in my stomach. I didn't know she was pregnant. Would it have mattered? Would you have stayed? Honest question. Deserved an honest answer. No, I wouldn't have. I'd have left anyway, and hated myself more for it. At least you're honest, Theo said. It's all I have left. Mom and Veronica came down the stairs. Veronica had 2 suitcases. Mom carried a banker's box full of files. Got everything important, Mom said. Documents, jewelry, medications, some clothes. We can replace the rest. We should go, the taller officer said. Just got word he posted bail. He'll be released within 30 minutes. We loaded the SUV. Veronica took one last look at the house. 3 years I spent decorating this place, making it a home, and now I'm running. You're escaping, Mom corrected. There's a difference. The drive out of town was tense. Every car that passed made Veronica flinch. Every siren made Theo go rigid. Mom stared out the window, lost in thought. I just drove, 1 mile at a time, putting distance between us and Dad. 6 hours later, we pulled up to my apartment building. It wasn't much. 3-story walk-up in a neighborhood that was trying to gentrify. My place was on the top floor. 1 bedroom, kitchenette, bathroom the size of a closet. 600 square feet total. This is it, I said. Home sweet home. We trudged up the stairs. I unlocked the door. Everyone filed in. The space immediately felt too small. It's cozy, Veronica said politely. It's tiny, Theo corrected. It's safe, Mom said. That's what matters. I showed them around. Took about 30 seconds. Bedroom here, bathroom there, kitchen in the corner, living space that doubled as dining room and office. I'll take the couch, I said. Mom and Theo can have the bedroom. Veronica, there's an air mattress in the closet. We'll set it up in here. I can't ask you to give up your bed, Mom protested. You're not asking, I'm offering. We spent the next hour making the space work. Mom and Theo disappeared into the bedroom. Veronica and I inflated the air mattress. She was quiet. Processing everything. Thank you, she said finally. For this. For letting me come. You don't even know me. You're carrying his child, I said. That makes you family, whether we like it or not. Do you like it? Honestly, I don't know yet, but I'm willing to try. Veronica nodded. That's more than I deserve. You deserve safety. You deserve peace. You deserve a life where you're not afraid. I was so stupid, Veronica whispered. Everyone warned me about him. My parents. My friends. They said he was too old, too intense, had too much baggage, but he was charming. He made me feel special. That's what predators do, I said. They find the vulnerable ones and make them feel seen. Were you vulnerable when he met your mom? I thought about what Mom had told me years ago, about how Dad swept her off her feet, how he proposed after 3 months, how he seemed perfect until they got married. Yeah, I said. She was. lost her parents young, had no family support. He promised her stability, a family, all the things she'd never had. And then he destroyed it all. That's his pattern. Build people up, make them dependent, then tear them down so they're too broken to leave. Your mom left, Veronica pointed out. After 16 years and 2 kids. After I disappeared and she hit rock bottom. After he nearly killed her. He nearly killed her? I pulled out my phone, scrolled past the pictures I'd shown at the party, found the one I'd never shown anyone. Mom unconscious on the floor, blood pooling around her head, paramedics working on her. This was 3 months before Theo was born, I said. Dad threw her down the stairs, said it was an accident, that she slipped, but I saw him push her. Veronica covered her mouth. The baby. Theo was fine. Miracle, really. Mom had a fractured skull, broken ribs, collapsed lung. She was in the hospital for a week. Dad told everyone she fell, even convinced the doctors. He's good at that. Convincing people. Why didn't you report him? I tried, filed a police report, but Mom wouldn't corroborate. Said she didn't remember, said I was mistaken. She was terrified he'd get custody of Theo, terrified he'd hurt us worse if she told the truth. So you left. So I left, because I couldn't save her, couldn't save Theo, could barely save myself. Veronica was crying again. I'm going to be just like her, trapped with a baby and no way out. No, I said firmly, you're not, because you left before the baby was born, before he could dig his hooks in too deep. You have a chance she never had. What if he finds us? Then we run again, and again, as many times as it takes. I'm tired of running, Veronica said. I've been running my whole life, from my parents, from reality, from myself. Then don't run, stand, fight. Build a life he can't touch. How? I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out, together. Mom emerged from the bedroom. She'd changed into pajamas I'd lent her. Looked small in my clothes. Theo's asleep, she said. Kid could sleep through an earthquake. Good, I said. He needs the rest. Mom sat on the couch, patted the space next to her. I sat. Felt like a kid again. She used to do this after bad nights with Dad. Sit with me on my bed, stroke my hair, tell me everything would be okay. She'd been lying, but I'd needed to hear it anyway. I'm sorry, Mom said now, for not protecting you, for staying as long as I did, for making you feel like you had to disappear. I know, I said. Do you forgive me? I'm working on it. She nodded. That's fair. We sat in silence. Veronica had curled up on the air mattress. She was staring at the ceiling, processing, grieving, coming to terms with what her life had become. What happens tomorrow? I asked Mom. Tomorrow we start over, Mom said. We find jobs, find a bigger place, find lawyers, find therapists, find whatever we need to survive this. That's a lot of finding. We've done harder things, have we? We survived him, Mom said. Everything else is manageable. I wanted to believe her, but I'd learned the hard way that survival wasn't the same as living. You could survive and still be dying inside, still be carrying wounds that never healed, still wake up at 3 a.m. in a panic because you heard a sound that reminded you of the bad nights. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. You think you're safe? Dad's voice, slurred. He'd been drinking. You think you can hide from me? I hung up, blocked the number, showed Mom. He's out. Already? Already. Mom's face went hard. We need to file a police report. Get a restraining order. Make it official. In the morning, I said. Tonight we just need to breathe. But sleep didn't come easy. Every sound made me jump. Every car passing outside made my heart race. Veronica tossed and turned on the air mattress. Mom paced in the bedroom. Even Theo, who claimed he could sleep through anything, woke up twice from nightmares. At 4 a.m., I gave up trying to sleep. Went to the kitchen, started making coffee. Mom joined me minutes later. Couldn't sleep either? She asked. Nope. He called you. He did. He called me too. 7 times. Left voicemails. Said he knows where we are. Said he's coming for Theo. My blood went cold. He's bluffing. He doesn't know where I live. Are you sure? Was I? I'd been so careful. No paper trail. No address on any documents. No social media present. But Dad was resourceful. Dad had friends. Dad could find people. We need to move, I said. Today. Right now. We can't stay here. Where do we go? I don't know. Somewhere far. Somewhere he'd never think to look. We can't keep running forever. Then what do you suggest? We stay here and wait for him to show up? We fight, Mom said. We get lawyers. We get restraining orders. We use the system. The system failed us before. Because I didn't fight hard enough. Because I was too scared. But I'm not scared anymore. You should be, I said. He's dangerous. So am I, Mom said. When it comes to protecting my kids. Veronica appeared in the kitchen doorway. I heard you talking. He called me too. 32 times. I stopped counting after that. What did he say? Mom asked. That I'm making a mistake. That I'm throwing away our life together. That he's a good man who made bad choices and deserves a second chance. Veronica's voice was flat, dead. Then the messages got darker. Said I'd regret leaving. Said he'd make sure I never saw my baby. Said no one would believe me. Record them, I said. Save every voicemail, every text, every call. It's evidence. Evidence for what? He hasn't done anything yet. Yet, Mom repeated. That's the key word. The sun came up. We made breakfast. Theo emerged, looking exhausted. You guys are loud, he complained. Sorry, Mom said. We have things to discuss. About Dad? About safety. We sat around my tiny kitchen table. 4 people who barely fit. 4 people trying to figure out how to survive the day. I vote we leave the state, Theo said. Go somewhere he'd never look. Change our names. Start completely over. That's running, Mom said. Running kept us alive this long. But it's not living, I said. Trust me, I know. Then what's your solution? Theo challenged. Stay here and hope he doesn't find us? Hope the restraining order actually works this time? We build something he can't destroy, I said. We document everything. We create a network. We make sure if something happens to one of us, the others are protected. That sounds paranoid, Veronica said. That sounds like survival, Mom corrected. We spent the day making plans, called lawyers, filed police reports, documented the calls and voicemails. Mom contacted her friend at the shelter, asked about emergency housing, asked about job programs, asked about therapy. By noon, we had a plan. Sort of. Mom and Theo would stay at the shelter temporarily, get into their programs, find permanent housing. Veronica would stay with me until she found a job. We'd all get new phone numbers, all check in daily, all watch our backs. It's not perfect, Mom said, but it's something. It's better than nothing, I agreed. We were packing up Mom and Theo's things when someone knocked on my door. Hard, insistent, the kind of knock that makes your stomach drop. Don't answer it, Veronica whispered. I looked through the peephole. Two men I didn't recognize, big guys, wearing construction jackets. One held a clipboard. Can I help you? I called through the door. Looking for Patricia Brennan, we have a delivery. Wrong address, I said. We were told she's staying here, with her daughter. My heart stopped. He'd found us. Already. Within 24 hours. There's no one here by that name, I said. Listen, lady, we just want to drop off this package and go. Make it easy on everyone. Leave it at the door. I'll get it later. Can't do that. Needs a signature. I called 911, quietly. Put it on speaker. The dispatcher answered. I gave the address. Said I had two men trying to force entry, that I felt threatened. The men outside must have heard. They started pounding harder. Open the damn door. Police are on their way. I called out. Fuck the police. We're just doing our job. Their job. Working for Dad. Obviously. Sirens in the distance. Getting closer. The men cursed. I heard footsteps running down the stairs. Peeked through the peephole again. They were gone. Police arrived 3 minutes later. Took statements. Searched the building. Found nothing. The men had vanished. You need to leave, the officer said. Today, this is an active situation. He knows where you are. He's escalating. Where do we go? I asked. Anywhere but here. So we left. Threw everything in the SUV. Drove to the shelter. Mom and Theo checked in. Veronica and I got a motel room 2 towns over. Paid cash. Registered under fake names. This is insane, Veronica said. We're acting like fugitives. We are fugitives, I said, from him. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. A photo, my apartment building, time-stamped an hour ago, then another photo, the motel parking lot. Our SUV. He was watching. I showed Veronica. She went pale. How is this possible? How did he find us so fast? I don't know. We need to call the police. And tell them what? He sent photos? That's not illegal. It's threatening. It's calculated. He knows exactly how far he can push without crossing legal lines. So what do? We stop reacting. We start planning. I called Mom, told her about the photos. She was silent for a long moment. He tagged my car, she said finally. Had to be. When he showed up at our house, he must have put a tracker on it. Do you still have the car? It's parked at the shelter. Get rid of it. Today. Sell it. Abandon it. Whatever it takes. That's my only transportation. It's also how he's finding us. Mom agreed. We made arrangements. She'd sell the car to a junkyard, use the money for bus tickets, get herself and Theo to a different city, start completely fresh. Veronica and I would do the same. Different direction, different approach. We'll regroup in a month, Mom said, once things calm down. And if they don't calm down, then we keep running, for as long as it takes. We said goodbye. Might be the last time we saw each other for months, maybe years, but it was better than the alternative. Veronica and I left the motel at dawn, drove north, no particular destination, just away. Put 12 hours between us and Dad by evening, found a small town, the kind with 1 stoplight and 3 churches. Rented a room at a bed and breakfast. The owner was an older woman who asked no questions. Just took our cash and handed over a key. You girls running from something? She asked. Someone, I corrected. She nodded. Been there. Room's yours as long as you need it. No judgments here. We stayed for 3 weeks. Veronica found work at the local diner. I got a job at the hardware store. We saved every penny. Checked in with Mom daily. She and Theo were in Oregon now. Mom working at a call center. Theo enrolled in online school. He hasn't found us yet, Mom said. Maybe he finally gave up. She shouldn't have said that. The next day, Theo didn't show up for his online classes. Mom called his phone, straight to voicemail, checked his room. He was gone, along with his backpack and phone charger. He took him. Mom sobbed. Your father took Theo. Are you sure? He left a note. Said he went to see Dad. Said Dad promised to leave us alone if Theo came back. That's a trap. I know. But Theo's just a kid. He believed him. Police were called. Amber Alert issued. But Theo was 16. Technically old enough to leave on his own. Not technically kidnapped. Just a runaway. Except we all knew better. I have to go get him, Mom said. I have to bring him home. You can't. Dad's expecting that. He's using Theo as bait. I don't care. He's my son, and you're my mother. I'm not letting you walk into that trap alone. So we drove, Veronica and I, back to the city we'd fled from, back to the danger we'd escaped, back to save Theo. Mom met us at a rest stop outside city limits. She looked awful. Hadn't slept. Hadn't eaten. Just drove straight through. I have an address, she said. Dad's new place. He moved after posting bail. Bought a house outside town. Middle of nowhere. Of course he did, I muttered. We drove in convoy. Mom leading, me following. 30 minutes into rural nothing. House at the end of a long gravel driveway. No neighbors. No witnesses. Perfect place for something bad to happen. We should call the police, Veronica said. And tell them what? That a teenager visited his father? That his father violated a restraining order. Dad's smart. He probably got Theo to text first. To invite himself over. That's not violation. That's visitation. So we just walk in there? No, I walk in there. You two stay in the car. Engine's running. If I'm not out in 10 minutes, you drive away and call the police. I'm not leaving you, Mom said. Yes, you are. Because if this goes wrong, Theo needs at least one parent alive. The house was dark when I approached. No lights. No movement. But I knew he was inside. Knew he was watching. I knocked. No answer. Tried the door. Unlocked. Dad! I called out. I know you're here. Sound from upstairs. Footsteps. Then Theo appeared at the top of the stairs. You shouldn't have come. Yeah, well, I'm stupid like that. Where is he? Right here, Dad said, stepping into view behind Theo. He had his hand on Theo's shoulder, casual, friendly, but I saw Theo flinch. Let him go, I said. He came here voluntarily. Isn't that right, son? Theo nodded, but his eyes said something different. What do you want? I asked Dad. Want? I want my family back. I want my wife to stop filing frivolous restraining orders. I want my kids to stop spreading lies about me. They're not lies, aren't they? You have your version of events. I have mine. Truth is somewhere in between. You threw Mom down the stairs. I barely touched her. She lost her balance. You threatened to burn down her house. I was upset. People say things they don't mean when they're upset. You stalked Veronica. She's my wife. I have a right to check on her. She has a restraining order. That's a misunderstanding. I'm working with my lawyer to get it dropped. Every word out of his mouth was gaslighting, manipulation, rewriting history to make himself the victim. I'm taking Theo home, I said. He is home, with his father who nearly killed his mother. Allegedly, Dad said. See, that's the problem with you kids. You take your mother's side without hearing mine. It's not fair. Life's not fair. No, Dad agreed. It's not. Like how I worked my whole life to provide for my family and they abandoned me, left me alone, made me look like a monster. You are a monster. His face changed. The mask slipped again. I saw the rage underneath. Get out of my house. Not without Theo. He's staying. We're going to rebuild our relationship without your mother poisoning his mind. Let him choose, I said. If he wants to stay, I'll leave, but let him decide. Dad's hand tightened on Theo's shoulder. Go ahead, son. Tell your sister what you want. Theo's eyes met mine, pleading, terrified. I want to stay with Dad, he said, voice flat, rehearsed. Try again, I said, this time without the gun pointed at you. Dad laughed. Always so dramatic. There's no gun. Then let go of him. He's fine. Let go. Dad's hand stayed put, but I saw it now. The slight bulge under his jacket. He was armed. You know what? I said. You're right. Theo wants to stay. That's his choice. I'll leave. I turned, walked toward the door, let Dad think he'd won. Wait, Theo called out. Don't go. I stopped. I thought you wanted to stay with Dad. I did. I thought. Theo's voice cracked. He said if I came here, he'd leave Mom alone. He promised. And you believed him? I had to try. He's lying, Theo. He's never going to leave us alone. Not unless we make him. How? Theo asked. How do we make him stop? We expose him, I said. Completely. No more hiding. No more protecting his reputation. We tell everyone everything. They won't believe you, Dad said. I'm respected in this community. A decorated firefighter. A pillar of society. You're just bitter children with axes to grind. Maybe, I said. But I've got 47 photos that tell a different story. And I've got Theo's testimony. And Veronica's. And Mom's. That's a lot of grinding for nothing. Those photos don't prove anything. They prove enough. Dad moved. Faster than I expected. Grabbed Theo, pulled him backward. I saw the gun now, pointed at the floor but present, threatening. Get out, Dad said. Last chance. Not without my brother. He's my son. He's his own person, and he's choosing to leave. I don't recall him saying that. Theo? I looked at my brother. What do you want? Long pause. Theo looked at Dad, then at me, then back to Dad. I want to go home, Theo said quietly. I want to go home to Mom. Dad's face twisted. After everything I've done for you. After I took you in when your mother couldn't handle being a parent. This is how you repay me? You didn't take me in, Theo said. I lived with you because Mom couldn't escape yet. But she did escape. And now I'm going with her. You're not going anywhere. Yes, he is, I said. Pulled out my phone, showed Dad the screen. I'd been recording the entire conversation. Every word, every threat, every admission. It's all documented. Dad's hand shook. The gun trembled. You're bluffing. Try me. Standoff. Dad looking at me looking at Dad. Theo frozen between us. Then headlights. Car pulling into the driveway. Multiple cars. Blue and red lights flashing. Mom had called the police anyway, despite my instructions. Thank God. Officers surrounded the house. Megaphone. Commands to come out with hands up. You called them, Dad said to me. I didn't, but I'm glad someone did. This is your fault. All of it. If you'd just stayed away. If you'd just let me be happy. Your happiness came at our expense. Everyone's happiness comes at someone's expense. That's life. No, I said. That's abuse. Police entered. Guns drawn. Commands shouting. Dad dropped his weapon, raised his hands, got cuffed, got led away. Theo collapsed. I caught him, held him while he sobbed. It's over, I said. It's finally over. But I knew better. It wouldn't be over until Dad was convicted, until he served time, until we built lives he couldn't touch. And even then, part of it would never be over. We'd carry this forever. The scars, the trauma, the memories that woke us at 3 a.m. But at least we'd carry it together. 3 months later, we sat in a courtroom. Mom, Theo, Veronica, me, along with 3 of Dad's previous girlfriends, 2 ex-coworkers, a neighbor, all telling their stories. The defense painted Dad as misunderstood, as someone struggling with PTSD from his firefighting career, as someone who loved too much. The prosecution painted him as a serial abuser, as someone who targeted vulnerable people, as someone who weaponized his charm. The jury deliberated for 6 hours, guilty on all counts. Dad got 12 years, eligible for parole in 8. Not enough, never enough, but something. As they led him away, he looked at us, at his family sitting in the gallery, and he smiled. Not a friendly smile, a promise, a threat. I'll be back, that smile said, and we'll finish this. But by then we'd be stronger, we'd be prepared, we'd be ready. After the sentencing, we walked out into afternoon sun. Theo had grown 3 inches. Veronica was showing now, 6 months pregnant. Mom had started teaching yoga at the shelter. And me? I'd gone back to school, studying social work, learning how to help other people escape what we'd escaped. What now? Theo asked. Now we live, Mom said. Really live, not just survive. How? Day by day, hour by hour, whatever it takes. We went to dinner, a chain restaurant with too loud music and mediocre food, but we were together. We were safe. We were free. Can I say something? Veronica asked. Of course. I know I'm not really part of this family. I'm just the woman who married your father for 10 months. But, she paused, wiped her eyes. But you all saved my life, and my baby's life, and I'm grateful. You are part of this family, Mom said. You survived him. That makes you one of us. Even though I was with him? Even though I didn't see what he was? Especially because of that, I said. You saw the mask. We saw the monster. But we both survived. That's what matters. Veronica nodded, rested a hand on her stomach. I'm having a girl. Found out yesterday. A girl, Mom repeated. That's wonderful. I'm terrified. What if I'm like him? What if I mess her up the way he messed us up? You won't, Theo said, because you know what not to do. You know what abuse looks like. You'll spend your whole life making sure she never experiences it. How do you know? Because that's what Mom did. She didn't always succeed, but she tried, and trying matters. We ate bad food and talked about the future, about Theo's college plans, about Veronica's due date, about Mom's new apartment, about me starting a support group for adult children of abusive parents. Will you talk about Dad? Theo asked. Probably. Is that okay? Yeah. I think people need to hear it, need to know they're not alone. That's what I'm hoping. We paid the bill, left a generous tip, walked out into the parking lot. A car waited, black sedan, tinted windows. My heart stopped. Then the window rolled down. It was Mom's friend from the shelter. Heard you guys were here. Wanted to congratulate you on the verdict. Jesus, I said. You scared us. Sorry, didn't mean to. Just wanted to say I'm proud of you, all of you. You did something incredibly brave. We didn't have a choice, Mom said. Everyone has a choice. You chose to fight. That's brave. She drove away. We stood there in the parking lot, 4 people who'd survived hell. You know what? Theo said. I think we're going to be okay. Yeah? I mean, we're messed up. We have issues. We need therapy. But we're alive. We're together. That counts for something. It counts for everything, Mom said. We got in our cars, Mom and Theo in their beater sedan, Veronica and I in the SUV. We'd sold it twice, bought it back once. It had been with us through everything. Where to? Veronica asked. Home, I said. Wherever that is now. We drove through the city, past the fire station where Dad worked, past our old house, past the hospital where Mom nearly died. Ghosts everywhere, memories in every corner, but also possibility. The chance to build something new, something that belonged to us. We passed a billboard, domestic violence hotline, photo of a woman looking scared. I want to do that, Veronica said. After the baby, I want to help other women leave. You'd be good at it. I was one of them. I know what it feels like to be trapped. To think there's no way out. There's always a way out, I said. It's just finding the courage to take it. Did you? Find the courage? I found desperation. Courage came later. We arrived at our new place, an actual apartment, 2-bedroom, decent neighborhood. We'd signed the lease last week. First place we'd had in months where we felt safe enough to stay. Inside, boxes everywhere. We'd been unpacking slowly, building a life piece by piece. I'm tired, Veronica said. Tired of running, tired of looking over my shoulder. When does it end? When we decide it does, I said. When we stop letting him control our lives. He's in prison, but he's still in our heads. That's the part we have to let go. How? Therapy? Time? Distance? Whatever it takes. Veronica went to bed. I stayed up, unpacking boxes, found photo albums I'd saved, pictures from before everything went bad. Me as a kid, Mom smiling, Dad looking normal, almost human. Hard to reconcile those photos with the man who terrorized us. But that was the thing about abusers. They weren't monsters all the time. They were human, complicated, capable of both love and violence. That's what made it so confusing. My phone buzzed. Text from Theo. You awake? Yeah, can't sleep. Me neither. Keep thinking about Dad. About what he said in court? What did he say? That he loved us. That everything he did was because he loved us. That wasn't love. I know. But part of me wants to believe him. Part of me wants to think he's not completely evil. He's not. That's what makes it worse. If he was pure evil, it would be easier. But he's human, flawed, damaged, and dangerous. Do you think we'll end up like him? No, because we're aware. We know what he did wrong. We'll spend our lives doing the opposite. Promise? Promise. We texted for an hour, about everything and nothing, about the past and the future, about the family we'd lost and the family we were building. Eventually, Theo said goodnight. I put down my phone, went to bed, dreamed about the party, about showing up and being shoved, about everything that had happened since. But this time, in the dream, I fought back. I was strong, I was brave, I was free. I woke up feeling lighter. Maybe healing was possible after all. The next morning, I got a call from the prosecutor. There's something you should know. Your father's appealing the conviction, says the evidence was coerced, says you manipulated the jury. Of course he is. It probably won't work, but it means more court dates, more testimony, more reliving everything. How long? Could be months, could be years. I hung up, told Veronica, told Mom, told Theo. Again? Theo said. We have to do this again? Apparently. I'm so tired. I know. Me too. When does it end? When he dies? Or when we do? Those are the only options. Dark thought, true thought. Then we better outlive him, Mom said. Better make our lives so good that he becomes irrelevant. How? By living, by thriving, by refusing to let him take anything else from us. So that's what we did. Mom opened a yoga studio, small place, just enough for 6 students. She called it Breathe, simple, powerful. Theo finished high school early, got accepted to college, wanted to study psychology. So I can help other kids who grew up like us. Veronica had her baby, a girl named Hope. Cliché but perfect. She was healthy, beautiful, completely unaware of the violence that had preceded her existence. And me? I finished my social work degree, started working at a women's shelter, the same one that had helped Mom, full circle. I ran support groups twice a week for adult children of abusive parents, for survivors of domestic violence, for anyone trying to rebuild after trauma. How do you move on? Someone asked at one session. Young woman, early 20s, just left her boyfriend. How do you stop being afraid? You don't, I said honestly. The fear doesn't go away. You just learn to function despite it. That sounds exhausting. It is. But it's better than the alternative, which is staying, dying slowly, losing yourself piece by piece until there's nothing left. She nodded. I saw understanding in her eyes. She'd been there. She knew. I left 3 times before it stuck, she said. He kept promising to change. I kept believing him. That's normal. It takes an average of 7 attempts to leave an abusive relationship. 7? I thought I was weak for going back. You weren't weak. You were traumatized. You were trauma bonded. You were doing your best with impossible circumstances. My friends say I should have just left earlier. Your friends don't understand. They've never been in that position. They don't know what it's like to love someone who hurts you. Did you love your dad? Yes. And I hated him. Both things were true at once. How do you reconcile that? I don't. I just accept that humans are complicated, that love and abuse can coexist, that nothing is black and white. The session ended. People left. I stayed behind, cleaned up, set up for the next group. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered cautiously. This is Officer Hernandez. I worked your father's case. I wanted to give you a heads up. He's been making phone calls from prison to people on the outside. What kind of phone calls? Asking about you, about your mother, about your brother, about his ex-wife Veronica. That's not allowed. He has a restraining order. He's using intermediaries. Technically not violating the order, but it's concerning behavior. What should we do? Be vigilant. Document everything. If anyone approaches you claiming to be from your father, report it immediately. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I hung up, called Mom, called Theo, called Veronica, warned them all. He's never going to stop, is he? Veronica said. Even from prison, even with 12 years to serve, he's still trying to control us. That's what abusers do. They can't stand losing power. I'm scared. Me too, but we're prepared now. We know his tactics. We know what to watch for. What if that's not enough? Then we adapt. We survive. We keep going. For how long? Forever. Or until he gives up. Whichever comes first. 3 years passed. Dad exhausted his appeals, settled into prison routine. The phone calls stopped. The threats diminished. The obsession seemed to fade. We started to breathe easier. Theo graduated college, got a job at a youth counseling center, met someone, a nice guy named Chris who made him laugh. Mom's yoga studio expanded. She hired 2 instructors, started offering free classes for domestic violence survivors. Veronica went back to school, studied social work. We worked at the same shelter. Partners in healing. Hope turned 3. Smart kid, funny kid, completely unaware of the darkness that surrounded her conception. And me? I wrote a book about surviving family violence, about rebuilding after trauma, about finding yourself when everything you knew was a lie. It was published by a small press, sold modestly, but the emails I got made it worth it. Your book saved my life. I thought I was alone. I thought something was wrong with me. Thank you for telling the truth. I read every message, responded to everyone, tried to give others the hope I'd been searching for. Then one day, I got a different kind of email. Your father wants to see you. He says he's dying, says he needs to make amends. From Dad's lawyer. I stared at the screen, read it 3 times, felt nothing. No, that's not true. I felt something. Relief, vindication, grief, all of it. None of it. Everything at once. I showed Mom. What do you think? I think it's a trap. He's dying. So he says. He's lied before. But what if he's telling the truth? What if this is real? Then he can die without us. We don't owe him deathbed forgiveness. I know, but I paused, tried to articulate something I didn't fully understand. But what if I need it? Not for him, for me. Need what? Closure. The chance to say everything I never got to say. Mom considered this. Then go. But don't go alone. And don't expect healing. People don't change on their deathbeds. They just become more of what they always were. What if you're wrong? Then you'll get your closure. Either way, you'll know. I called the lawyer, arranged a visit, brought Theo, left Veronica and Mom behind. The prison was gray, industrial, smelled like bleach and despair. We went through security, got searched, got escorted to the medical ward. Dad was in bed, thin, pale, hooked to machines. He looked small, fragile, nothing like the monster from my memories. You came, he said, voice weak. We came, I confirmed. I'm dying. Pancreatic cancer. 6 weeks left, maybe less. Okay, that's it? Okay, what do you want me to say? I want you to forgive me. The room fell silent. Just the beep of machines, the hum of fluorescent lights. Why should I asked. Because I'm your father. Because I loved you. Because I did my best. Your best involved terrorizing us for years. I was sick. I had a disease. Alcoholism, PTSD. I wasn't in control. You were in control enough to hide it from your squad, to perform at work, to charm Veronica. You chose when to be the monster. That's not fair. Neither was throwing Mom down the stairs. Dad flinched. I've apologized for that. 1,000 times. You've explained it, justified it, minimized it. You've never actually apologized. I'm apologizing now. Too late. It's never too late. Yes, I said. It is. You had years to apologize, years to change, years to be the father we needed. You chose violence instead. I was afraid of losing you, afraid of being alone. So you made sure we'd leave, made sure we'd hate you, made sure we'd spend our lives recovering from you. Theo spoke up. I don't hate you. I just don't trust you. There's a difference. Dad looked at him, really looked. You've grown. That's what happens when you're not around to stunt my growth. I wasn't that bad. You pointed a gun at my sister. You held me hostage. You stalked Mom. You terrorized everyone you claimed to love. That's not that bad. That's evil. I was desperate. So were we. But we didn't hurt people. Dad closed his eyes. Tears leaked out, real or perform. I couldn't tell anymore. I'm dying, he said again. Doesn't that matter? Everyone dies, I said. Some people deserve sympathy. You don't. I'm still your father, biologically, but you lost the right to that title years ago. What do you want from me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's the point. Then why are you here? Good question. Why was I here? Standing beside the bed of a dying man who destroyed my childhood. I'm here to tell you that we survived, I said. That we're thriving. That everything you tried to destroy, we rebuilt. And we did it without you. That's cruel. That's truth. I loved you. I still love you. Love isn't enough. It never was. You needed to be safe. You needed to be kind. You needed to be someone we could trust. You were none of those things. I can't change the past. No, but you could have changed the present. You could have gotten help. You could have taken responsibility. You could have let us go instead of chasing us for years. I needed my family. You needed control. We were never a family. We were hostages. Dad opened his eyes, looked at me with something like recognition. You sound like your mother. Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. It wasn't a compliment. I know. That's why it means something. We stood there, the three of us, looking at the man who'd shaped our trauma. I'm not going to forgive you, I said finally. Not today. Not ever. Not because I'm holding a grudge, but because forgiveness implies you earned it, and you didn't. Everyone deserves forgiveness. Everyone deserves a chance. You got 1,000 chances. You wasted everyone, so that's it. You're just going to let me die alone? You're not alone. You have nurses, chaplains, your lawyer. That's more than most people get. I want my family. You should have thought about that before you destroyed it. We left, walked out of the medical ward, through the prison, past the guards and the gates and the walls, into sunlight, into fresh air, into freedom. How do you feel? Theo asked. Empty, I said, but in a good way. Like I put down something heavy. Did you get your closure? I don't know. Maybe closure isn't a moment. Maybe it's a process. That's very therapist of you. I've been practicing. We drove home, told Mom and Veronica what happened, how Dad looked, what he said, how we responded. Do you regret going? Mom asked. No, I needed to see that he's human, that he's not this unstoppable force. He's just a sick old man who made terrible choices. Are you going to visit him again? No, once was enough. Dad died 4 weeks later. The lawyer called with the news, asked about funeral arrangements. We declined to participate. That seems harsh, the lawyer said. That seems appropriate, I corrected. He was buried in a cemetery on the edge of town. Small service. A few firefighters showed up, people who didn't know the truth, who remembered only the hero. We didn't go. We marked his death quietly, in our own way. Mom lit a candle, let it burn for 24 hours. For the man I thought I married, not the man he became. Theo wrote a letter, everything he never got to say, then burned it, so it can't hurt anyone else. Veronica planted a tree, for hope, so she knows something beautiful can grow from darkness. And me? I wrote the final chapter of my book, the one I'd been avoiding, the one about endings and beginnings and what comes after. My father died today, it began. I didn't cry. I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel anything except tired. Tired of carrying his violence. Tired of explaining why I left. Tired of defending my survival. But I'm not tired of living. I'm not tired of the family I've built. I'm not tired of the person I've become despite him. He's dead. We're alive. That's not justice. That's just biology. Real justice is what happens next. How we live, how we love, how we break the cycles he started. Real justice is choosing differently, being different, creating a world where our children never know the fear we knew. He's dead, but we're not done. We're just beginning. And that's the sweetest revenge of all. I finished the chapter, sent it to my editor, closed my laptop. Veronica was making dinner. Theo was playing with Hope. Mom was teaching an evening class. Normal life, boring life, beautiful life. My phone rang. Mom, I'm pregnant, she said. What? I met someone at the studio. He's kind, patient, nothing like your father, and I'm pregnant. Mom, that's amazing. I'm 47, too old for this, but I'm doing it anyway. You're going to be great. I'm terrified. That means you'll be amazing. We talked for an hour about her new partner, about the pregnancy, about fear and hope and second chances. I never thought I'd have this, Mom said. A do-over, a chance to be the parent I couldn't be before. You were a good parent. I was a surviving parent. There's a difference, but maybe this time I can be both. You will be. I know it. After we hung up, I sat in silence, thinking about cycles, about how we break them, about how healing isn't linear. Dad was gone, but we remained, changed, scarred, stronger. That night, I dreamed about the retirement party. But this time when Dad laughed, I laughed too. Not with him, at the absurdity of it all. And in the dream, I walked away, not running, walking, with my head high and my family beside me. When I woke up, Veronica was making breakfast. Hope was singing off-key in her room. Theo was texting Chris about weekend plans. Normal, beautiful, safe. You okay? Veronica asked. Yeah, I said, and meant it. I'm okay. For real? For real. We ate breakfast together, made plans, talked about nothing important, just lived. Later that day, I got an email from someone who'd read my book. Thank you for writing this. I left my husband last night. Your book gave me courage. I have 3 kids and no money and I'm terrified, but I left. And I'm not going back. I wrote back immediately. You're going to make it. I don't know how. I don't know when, but you will. Because leaving is the hardest part. Everything else is just details. Find a shelter, find a lawyer, find a therapist, find whatever you need, ask for help, accept help, survive. And in a few years, when you're on the other side, remember this moment. Remember how brave you were, how strong you were, how you saved your kids and yourself. You're a hero, even if you don't feel like one yet. I hit send, hoped it helped, hoped she survived, hoped her story ended better than most. That night, we had dinner together, all of us. Mom and her new partner, Theo and Chris, Veronica and Hope, me, a family. Not biological, not traditional, but real. I want to make a toast, Mom said, raised her glass, to survival, to healing, to the family we chose. We all raised our glasses, even Hope, with her juice box. To family, we echoed. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I heard Dad's voice. Angry, resentful, telling me I'd never be happy without him, but he was wrong. We were happy, we were free, we were whole. And that was the best revenge of all. Not vengeance, not violence, just living well, just thriving despite him. He tried to destroy us. Instead, he'd made us stronger. That was his legacy. Not the violence, not the fear, but the strength we'd built in opposition to him. I looked around the table at these people I loved, these survivors, these warriors. Thank you, I said, all of you, for not giving up, for staying alive, for being here. Thank you for coming back, Mom said, for finding us again. I'll always come back, I said. That's what family does. And this time I wasn't lying. This time it was true. Because family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up, who stays, who fights for you even when it's hard. We were family. We were survivors. We were free. And no one, not even a dead man, could take that away from us.